All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Now, in a surprise move today, Auburn has fired head football coach Gus Malzahn. Now, in 8 years at Auburn, Malzahn was 68-35 overall while going 39-27 within the SEC. Malzahn led Auburn to a bowl game in each season that he was there, which included getting to the national championship game back in 2013. Versus Alabama, Malzahn was 3-5, and he did have a losing record against clubs that had winning records. Now, with that said, Auburn does owe Malzahn more than $21 million in a buyout. But as far as I'm concerned, there were some very unrealistic expectations for this program. I mean, you look at the situation, the SEC, make no mistake about it, is the biggest, baddest, and toughest conference in America. And unless your name is Alabama, it is very difficult to go out there and consistently get 10, 11, 12, and 13 win seasons each year. It is very difficult to go out there and consistently navigate through the tough waters that are the SEC West, because taking on Alabama is one thing. You still have to contend consistently with LSU. You also have to contend with Texas A&M. And of course, like the big dog over there, we're talking about Alabama. Not to mention some of the teams that you have to deal with in the SEC East, the likes of Florida, the likes of Georgia, consistency. So it is always difficult to stay on top there. It's a situation for me. They were consistent. I know that, some of the backers of this program wanted to see Auburn ascend to the ranks of Alabama. But the bottom line is, gone are the days of Pat Dye when Auburn was going to be a top 5, top 10 team every single season. We saw Tommy Tuberville get a consistent program there in Auburn when he took over in 1999. Only had 2 losing seasons, his first in 99 and then his final one in 2008. Now, we saw Gene Chizik have immediate success with Auburn winning the title in 2010, and then it got away from him very, very quickly. Malzahn took it over, got him to 12-2, got him to the championship game his first season. But it's a situation with a place like Auburn, they don't retool as quick as an Alabama does. They might have that championship run every 2 or 3 years or maybe 4 years, but, they take a step back and then they get it going. We saw this Auburn team after getting to the national championship with Malzahn in 2013. They took a step back for a few years, contended in 2016, finished the season ranked, and got to the Sugar Bowl. The following season, they were rolling 10-2. They got to the SEC championship game. Remember, they beat Alabama that year, but then they lost in the SEC championship game to Georgia and then lost a shocking Peach Bowl to Central Florida. They went 9-4 last year. They lost the Outback Bowl to Minnesota, which was a bit of a letdown, but this club has been right there. It's a situation, it's unrealistic expectations for this program. I feel bad for whoever takes over this slot because it's a situation where, hey, 10, 11 wins in the SEC consistently is not easy. This was a tougher season in 2020, of course, due to COVID. Auburn, they were 6-4 within the SEC, the extended SEC schedule this season. But I don't know who's going to take over this job, but I do feel bad for that person because the expectations are going to be real high. Now, with a $21 million buyout, I don't see Malzahn rushing to get back into a coaching position unless it was a place like Baylor or West Virginia, if they were willing to, back up the truck and want a guy like Malzahn and his spread offense to go out there and bring some life and bring some excitement back to their programs. And I say Baylor because you look at what Baylor had ascended to under former head coach Matt Rule before he left to become the head coach of the Carolina Panthers in the NFL. Things went south this season under Dave Aranda, and now Baylor looks like they're right back to where they were when Rule took over. And if you're West Virginia, you really have been unable to make that spark since joining the Big 12. And I think Malzahn's offense would be a success in that conference. Now, if you're South Carolina, for me, I know that they hired Shane Beamer recently to be their head football coach. You just have to wonder if they had just waited a couple of weeks and if they'd known that Malzahn would have been available, maybe they take a run at him, because I think that his track record has shown that he can be successful in the Southeastern Conference. But that's neither here nor there now. Shocked by the move, but I know that some of the fan base wanted to see Malzahn gone. I know some of the boosters wanted to see him gone. But again, with that said, I know that Malzahn does have a hefty contract that he is paid on a year in and year out basis at Auburn. But the bottom line is, you're not Alabama. You're not going to consistently win 11, 12 games every year in the SEC. And you know what? It is what it is. So good luck to the next person that's taking over on the Plains in Auburn, because he has a very tall task in front of him. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to thank all of the subscribers out there. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.